I know everybody doesn't believe in purgatory, but that doesn't make it any less real. And if you're questioning, I'm asking you with great humility, just ask the Lord, is this a bunch of bunk or does it really exist? I believe poor souls visited Princess Eugenie, which is why I'm reading out of her book, My Conversations with the Poor Souls, so that the Lord could save another soul, you perhaps, by allowing you to hear what was happening in her life. This is the diary of Princess Eugenie. And if this is your first video, please go back and read the other parts. It has been so eye-opening to me. And as always, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and if you can, contribute financially to my ministry. That's all I have. I begin today with the chapter entitled, Can't You Tell Me About the Afterlife? December 9th, 1923, Catherine came again. I was just awake and noticed something new that reminded me of electric light. The moment the spirit comes, my own being is turned off, a click in my brain, and all my other thoughts are gone. The supernatural has a compelling power. Unfortunately, I had no pain. I would have been interested to know whether these also disappeared. She came very close and put her hand on my forehead as if she wanted to do something kind to me. I asked, "Why are you so friendly today?" She said, "Everything bright." Me. "Where is it bright?" She said, "In me and you." I asked, "What else can you see of me?" She said, "Longing." Then she was gone. Because I have to be honest, I have to say that I was looking forward to Holy Communion, but I really hate to write that kind of stuff. It seems to be going into extravagant territory. Hines was there again. Nothing special. December 10th, the same. December 11th, the new shadow in my room by day. Catherine at night was again very friendly. I said, "Can't you tell me anything about the afterlife?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Aren't you allowed?" She said, "Believe." I asked, "Is it what you thought it was?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Tell me why I don't see you when I'm in pain." She said, "Because then you have no strength." Now there's an asterisk after the question, "Is it what you thought it was?" The asterisk says, and again, for those of you that didn't see previous videos, this was her spiritual director, confessor, priest who went in and filled in blanks for us, the reader, later. He said, "It also happened to the selfless princess that a curious question rose to her lips. The answer, believe. If there were a strict order in the world affected by original sin, faith would become scientific knowledge and human freedom would be abolished. Only faith allows freedom to say yes or no to religious truths. God keeps every coercion away from man, making him a responsible person even in evil." So on December 11th, we continue. Then Hines came, always the same. December 12th. The new shadow was next to me. No one noticed. Hines was there a long time, a little better, doesn't seem to be hostile to prayer anymore either. There was something else in my room at the same time, maybe the shadow, I couldn't distinguish it most of the night. I was so tired that I asked it to leave. When the horrible moans and whimpers came, that's when I asked him to leave. So I withdrew my request and began to pray again. I've had an abominable thought because I envied the others who are allowed to sleep. December 14th, I saw everything, the 11, the night, the shadow, Catherine and Hines, but didn't speak. December 15th, a hideous night. It was as if a large bird were always banging against the window. Because I thought my winter window wasn't hung, I got up to see. Everything was fine, no storm either, but there was a large black shadow or figure that filled me with horror, more animal than human. I was terribly scared, quickly left the window. I was very relieved when Catherine came, and I asked, "Did you see the ghastly thing?" She said, no, but your fear. I said, are you always there? She said, yes. Why can't I see you? She was gone. The good Lord will protect me from the ghastly. December 16th, the noise was at the window again. I didn't see anything. Catherine landed there. She knelt down during her loving prayer, and then she said, thank you. I said, you look completely different. Don't you have to atone for it anymore? She said, for me, there is joy. I said, aren't you coming anymore? She said, no. Then she came very close and said something incomprehensible, as if in another language. And then she was gone. I'm almost sad not to see her anymore. She was a protection for me. And I'm so scared of the bad guy at the window because it's completely different from what I've seen before. I have asked her many things. I only write what I get an answer to. I saw the night and the 11. The shadow stands next to me. It's a gray fog. I have to pray. Now, after 10 minutes, they are gone. December 17th. Hines, the night and the shadow. The horror at the window was mixed in with the storm, so I can't say anything specific. December 18th, I saw Nurse Hedwig in the chapel at the hospital looking very happy. When I came back, Hines was in my room. I said, I just prayed so much for you. Tell me what else you want. He said, sorry. I asked, did you shoot my grandfather? He said, instigated, slandered. I said, I'm happy to forgive you. Do you still have to suffer a lot? He said, yes. I said, can I ask if you were sick or possessed? He said, possessed. By whom? Spirit of lies. He said all this in a tearful tone and looked pitiable. I'm so glad he's finally talking. It actually seems wrong to me that I expose the faults of the poor, like a loveless betrayal of trust. Obedience and charity come into conflict with me. Now, the asterisk, her pastor, Sebastian Wieser, he writes this. I knew old Hines just as well as Fritz and the others. He lived opposite my house, and I often visited him during the days of his insanity. Hines died about 50 years ago. The shot hole is still visible today. He now confesses that he was the instigator of the fatal shot and that he was possessed by the spirit of lying. I believe that a large proportion of foolish people are possessed. And now back to Eugenie's words are, in all appearances, I find the unhappiness most marked in the position of the arms. Unfortunately, I can neither describe it nor draw it. Again, what I am learning from this book is the more people appear to her, the more she prays for them. The more she prays for them, the less hideous they become. Once silent, they begin to speak. Once unintelligible words, they become intelligible. And like we heard today with Catherine, who's been with her through many visits, several videos that you may see, she is finally filled with joy, which we can take to mean she's finally out of purgatory and in heaven. And what a beautiful gift to let Princess Eugenie know that her prayers have finally gotten her soul to heaven. What an honor. If I die today, please pray for me. All of you, as many of you as can. I don't want to be in purgatory any longer than I have to be. I don't want to be in there for a minute. I don't want to see the state of my soul. As we're seeing from these souls, they have hideous punishments for lying, for gossip, for, in this case, just being, having a spirit of lies. This is not something to play with. Our punishments will be very real. But oh, what a joy it will be to be in purgatory, to know that we will be assured of heaven one day. Please pray for these people. Please know that purgatory is real. And please do all you can to get these souls out of there so that they can pray for you and you won't be there as long. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.